Oh, hello there. Hello and welcome to the first episode of YouTube Underdogs. Now, unlike the average shout-out video where someone just talks about someone that people should subscribe to, I plan on making a series out of this where I discuss YouTubers who deserve way more credit than what they're getting on YouTube. And unlike the average shout-out video, I plan on having interviews with these people that are in-depth, and you can see way more about their channel and what they plan on doing with their channel, stuff like that. And you'll know way more about them after watching a video than just some shout-out video. Now, to start off this series, I had the opportunity to interview from the channel Deeko Jones and show you what he's all about. I hope you enjoy this interview. Starting now. I thank you very much for being in this interview series, and I just thank you so much for participating in it. It really means a lot to me. I love to interview people. I really don't get to do it that often, and I thank you for it. But starting off with the interview, a very basic question I like to ask people who when they go on YouTube. Why did you originally decide to upload videos on YouTube?
It all boils down to me being a writer. I've been in love with writing ever since I could string words together, which was before I could even pick up a pen. And when I was in high school, I did speech team, and my favorite category was original comedy, in which I would write a short skit and then act out all of the characters. And when I got out of high school, I wanted to keep doing it. I didn't want to stop writing comedic scripts, but I didn't know what I would really be able to do with them. The only option I was seeing was possibly writing skits for solos and duets to have published online for people to use as memorized projects for speech team, but I felt like that wasn't going to reach the audience that I wanted it to. And my freshman year of college, a friend of mine introduced the concept of YouTube shows to me, and I was very surprised by this notion. I didn't realize that people used YouTube for things other than listening to music and watching cat videos. By the end of freshman year, I had about 4 or 5 scripts written, and over the summer I got a camera, got together with some friends, and started filming some of what became my very first episodes on my YouTube channel, which I named Deeko Jones.
Now, unlike the average YouTuber, you actually have a show with reoccurring characters on it. Now, these characters come back once every episode usually. Sometimes they don't come back too often, but we see them, every now and then. So I just like to ask you, what inspired your Deeko Jones character? Also, what about the other reoccurring characters, Sam and Quinn?
When I was preparing the show, there was nothing real to it. I had a few scripts that were completely separate from each other, and I needed something slightly unified. I decided the show needed some sort of figurehead, something iconic, some sort of main character, as opposed to just doing a bunch of random skits that all have nothing to do with each other. I wanted to create some form of character that would make a lasting impression. And I obviously didn't want to base this character on myself. And I went through several names, several ideas, and suddenly I looked over on my shelf and saw a pair of nerd glasses. And I'd had these from show choir in high school, and I kept them. And I pretty much just decided that right then and there, that my main character was just going to be the nerdiest person ever. Of course, he's evolved from that original idea, but right then and there, Deeko Jones kind of just walked into my life. I still don't even really know where the name Deeko came from. It just kind of appeared. And he had the other sub-characters that were involved in some of the mayhem of his life. It was originally 3 characters, Dave, Sam, and Quinn. So I combined Dave and Sam into one snarky, very sarcastic character, and kept Quinn as the zany character, and decided they would be the main 3 of the show. And the rest of the recurring characters, like Kathy the RA, Willow the Agent Stalker, they just kind of appeared over time.
Now, watching your sketches, I've noticed a lot of them take place at a college. So I'm going to assume that you are a college student. Now, are there any pros or cons when filming at an educational institution?
Yes, I am a college student. And when I decided to have that be the main set of the show, that was mostly just out of convenience. I decided, hey, I'm on a college campus, why not just make the show about college kids? It's made things very easy for script writing, because since I just am writing about college students, I need to film in a classroom. Okay, it's a weekend, no one's in the academic buildings, I'll go in and film in one of the tiered classrooms. I need to film in a general public location. Okay, I'll go to the cafe right before opening time when there's no one around. I need a dorm room? Where would I find one of those? Look, I live in a dorm room. It really works out. There are a lot of pros. I mean, there's a wide variety of sets. I have outside the dorm rooms, the hallways, the lounges, the campus itself, the union. There's just a wide variety of sets. The only cons, and it's just something that I've had to learn to deal with, there are other people on campus, which means that when I film, I always have to be careful. Don't let that person get in the background. He might not be happy ending up on the backdrop of a ridiculous YouTube video about insane government agents tracking down innocent college students. There's also I can't really film at 3 in the morning in the hallway if the scene is an epic fight scene, brawl to the death, because that would probably interfere with a few sleeping habits. So it's really just little things that I've had to adapt and work around, but it's never really been a real concern.
Now, I want to ask you, do you find it hard that you play nearly every character in every sketch you make? Now, speaking from personal experience, I find it a bit of a pain in the ass. What do you think?
Playing multiple characters is actually one of the things I enjoy most about the acting process. It lets me really branch out as an actor, and I'm far from being a serious actor. But it just makes it fun and interesting. I mean, the more characters I add, the more complicated it gets, but it hasn't ever been a real challenge. So it doesn't really require any type of prior preparation or acting warm-ups. It's just, I need to be Granddaddy Yosemite now. Beard, hat, glasses, sweater. Alright, I'm good to go! Time to go find my grandkitties. Alright. Or Willow, wig, amulet, cape, black shirt. Yeah, and I kind of learned witchcraft. That doesn't bother you, does it? So, it makes it very interesting. Pretty much, if you're walking around a college campus in a trench coat and dreadlocks, you obviously get a few stares, but it kind of makes it just that much more fun. And I've never really found it difficult to play all of the characters in a given script. It requires a little bit of careful planning, like this character's here, camera angle, and there are occasions where, if you notice, or if you watched my videos, you will notice, wait a second, shouldn't there be a little bit of a character showing on this part of the screen? It's usually not a problem. And personally, I think it adds that little personal touch of mine to the show itself.
Now, as a college student and young adult, are there any real-life restrictions that prevent you from filming when you want to?
I am a full-time student, so the answer to that is yes. I wish I could film 24/7, but unfortunately that's not the case. I have a full load of classes, and then you have the factor of homework, and I work 2 jobs on campus in addition to several extracurricular activities and maintaining a social life. So yes, I cannot just go out and film whenever I want to. It pretty much is the furthest, it pretty much has to be the furthest thing back on the back burner of my life, unfortunately. So it's pretty much, ooh, it's a weekend. Am I done with homework? Almost. I'll finish that tonight. Alright, I'm gonna go film. So, yeah. Life does get in the way. It's a challenge, but the trick is to try to make just a little bit of time to film and hope that that is enough time to make it as good as I can.
Now, watching your sketches, I couldn't help but notice that nearly every sketch has multiple people on screen at the same time, even though it's just you playing multiple characters. And the delivery of all the dialogue has impeccable timing based on the fact that you're using editing effects to make it look like there's more of you on screen at the same time. Now, if it's not too much trouble, could you possibly go over the slight technical details of what you have to do to achieve this effect in your editing software?
Not only do you have to have that one character's dialogue memorized, but you have to have both or all of the characters' dialogue memorized and run through it in your head to try to get the timing as accurate as possible. In this case, I made a mistake and walked away way too soon. So I'm going to find the beginning of the end of Deeko's line. Anywhere else to be? And I'm going to make a cut here. Then I'm going to find where Deeko walked away. Actually, I'm going to start right before he shakes his head. Make another cut. And slide the third clip way over here. And then I'm going to right click here, speed and duration. And I'm going to make it about, I'm going to try 65% of the original speed and see where that takes me. The war. But then there was the war. Alright, that's still a little bit too early, so I'm going to take it out here. And then I'm going to right click, speed. I'm going to try 55. And then I'm going to put him attached to there. So by slowing it down, you don't want to slow it down too much, because then it will start to look unrealistic, because they'll be moving in slow motion. So the things that you want to slow down is like when they're not moving at all, which is why, or barely moving, which is why I chose to have the cut right before he starts to shake his head, because otherwise he would have otherwise it would look like, if I just slowed down the second half of it, his shaking of his head and walking away would have looked like this. Which doesn't make much sense. Alright, so now I know that the shots and the dialogue line up fairly well. The last thing you have to do before you're ready to add the effect is to go back and increase the transparency back to 100% on all of the clips that I modified. And then I rendered the entire work area.
I see what you did there. I definitely see what you did there. Okay, so I hope some of you out there learned something. I probably didn't, but I hope you did learn something from that. Okay, let's get on with the interview. What do you say? Okay, now in the future, do you plan on getting more people involved with your sketches, or are you strictly solo on that? Just embellish on that a little, if you will.
So, in the past I have had a few other people in videos. In Fairy Tales I had several of my high school friends act out characters in that. In Fluorescence I got my friends Taylor and the Dude, and then in Gareth to help out. They've also come back for other episodes like Who Framed Deeko Jones, Snowden, the Christmas special, and Almost a Paradox. I've also had to get other help sometimes, so I'm not strictly solo. I mean, I have needed assistance in my video Lampshading. That was pretty much just impossible to do by myself, which is why I was lucky enough to recruit the help of my friend AC. She was very helpful for that 6-hour film shoot to make that fight scene even remotely possible. Or my friend John, who has helped with camera pointing when I actually need to move the camera, because normally I just film with a tripod. Or when I say, hey John, I need help because I need to be crouched at a laundry machine while a ghost pops out of it. Yeah, I do require some help. I enjoy having other people on the set because it makes things not only easier, but more fun. It sometimes gets a little lonely when you set up a camera on a tripod and then act like 6 people and then edit for 10 hours or so in a room all closed in by yourself. And so in the future, yes, I would like to get more people involved, mostly because I have started writing other scripts that are currently impossible to produce when you're by yourself. The channel's called Deeko Jones, but no, I am not a solo. It does require other people.
What are the goals for your sketches? What are you trying to achieve when you upload videos?
Goals imply you know what you're doing. And regardless of the fact that my computer is filled with timelines, schematics, character charts, relationship charts, blueprints, designs, the works, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna say that. I am one guy with a camera and a vision and a few dozen wigs. Somewhere along the line, amidst posting random skits that don't seem to make sense, a story arc just developed on its own. And Deeko Jones and the other characters have become real people. They've become more than just characters in a web show. And it's gotten to a point that people actually care what happens to them. And I can't just go willy-nilly. The project has gotten much bigger than I ever anticipated. So, my goal is essentially to tell this story to the best of my ability. And hopefully I'll be able to incite some more laughs, some joy, some tears. Because it all boils down to me being a writer. And the most important responsibility of a writer is to impact people. And that's what I really want to do. Deeko Jones is a figurehead that I created. And hopefully, even if it's in the smallest of ways, it can change people's lives. He can change people's lives.
Okay, I'd like to thank my guest from the channel, Deeko Jones. He's been a real great sport about letting me interview him. And I'd just like to say, if anyone out there likes great sketch comedy, check out his channel. A lot of great stuff on there. And check out his latest sketch as of this upload. It is called Snowed In, from the series Somewhat Sketchy. And I really did enjoy it. It had some great funny moments in it. Has some excellent editing. Excellent effects were used. Just a great channel all around. Please go check out this channel. See what this guy's about. And just, I hope you enjoy his channel. Check it out. And let him know that you like his stuff. Alright, thanks a lot. This has been the first episode of YouTube Underdogs. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.